Pradesh, and and Professor P. Rameshan, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak, with us, and Shri Akshay Agarwal ji, Secretary IT Government of Maharashtra, would be the moderator for this session. So with this, I would like to hand over the session to the session moderator. And before we start the session, we would have the technology presentation by Mr. Amit Kumar. He is the President, Cyber4 Technologies, following which he will be joining the panel, and then we would start with the discussion.
Good afternoon to all. First of all, I'd like to thank Digital Learning, give us an opportunity to speak in front of you. Before I initiate my speech, I would like to some brief about my company. It's a Cyber4 Technology. Basically, we are in cyber security course. We are an ISO 9001, 27001 certified. We had accredited member of IADL UK and USA DLA. And we have a strategic alliance with EC Council USA, the highest certification body in the world of cyber security. Today, I'm discussing about the cyber security, the risk and the rewards. So what were the key elements thought about allied them cyber security? Defend the virtual burglar. Nurture the budding professional, secure the physical and virtual system. Lucrative career. Defend the virtual world. ITs play a dominant role in the current economy trade. As IT simplified our work in all aspects, it also called for the cyber threat. Cyber criminals have found a new way to invade the economy and to terrorize the nation with the use of IT. Though how India has as an IT superpower, still India needs 5 lakh cyber security professionals by the end of 2015. In my words, protection of critical and public-private information infrastructure and provides well-educated information assurance and cyber security at all professional levels. What is required to achieve cyber security mission was to build R&D, research and development. In India, we have only 556 cyber security experts in compared to China. China have 25 million cyber security experts. In USA, 91,000 cyber security experts. But in India, 556. But India require more than 5 lakh cyber security expert by the end of 2015. Security awareness issue and processes. We are not aware of, several people are not aware of cyber threat nowadays. Security risk assessment, management, policy, laws, rights management, nurture the budding professional, train professional for all, not just Indian but global. Building a stronger connect between the technology and the professional, region-centric teams. Building in-user engagement, shorter format cyber experts. Secure the virtual world. We are living the world where internet played very dominant role in day-to-day life. In India, 2 billion people are using internet nowadays. Today, there are more than 2 billion people online who need to be protected, need skill-based professional for combating cyber security. Security will fuel the growth of business. Trust is critical to build customer confidence, and trust comes only through the safety. Global clients are increasingly demanding high level of compliances, data, security, privacy, and cybersecurity regulation, magnifying the rage not just in India but across the globe. The need for cyber expert has grown day by day. And what are the solid and lucrative career? A beginner can initiate his career from 2 to 3 lakh per annum, and experienced a person get 10 to 12 lakh per annum. India need 5 lakh cyber security professionals by the 2015 to support its fast growing internet economy as per and estimated by the Indian Ministry of Information and Technology. Jobs will come up across the industry in public as well as private sector. The financial sector alone expected to hire over 2 lakhs people, while telcos, utilities, sector, power, oil, gas, airline, government will hire the rest. Achieving win-win performance. Because in India, we have only 556 cybersecurity experts, but we expect 5 lakh cybersecurity. The demand and supply is unmatched. Demand is much more higher than the supply. So great opportunities, the person who are doing BTech or MCA or BCA. BTech with cybersecurity, the probability of getting job is much more higher than the simple BTech. Growing business, offering new experience, cybersecurity spending globally would continue an upward trajectory, reaching 86 billion in 2016 from 16 billion in 2012. And the winning continues. Thank you very much.
My friend Ravi has asked me to sort of moderate this session. I'm thankful to my friend Amit from Cyberfold, who has pointed out that in the field of cybersecurity also, the market demand and the actual supply, there is a wide gap. There is a gap in training, and we see this not only in vocational fields, basically not having enough good plumbers, carpenters, technicians, so better ITIs, but even in BTech and BEs, we find that when students get out, companies like Infosys say that the material is practically 12th standard, and they make the kids do 1 year or 6 months again in their own campus before they are actually able to deploy them. Same thing is with TCS and other companies like Wipro and others. Yeah, so now I'm coming. And same thing is in even postgraduate functions, that even after IIM sometimes our guys are not so mature so that they can be absorbed directly by the industry. Across the world, the mantra for this is better interaction between the government, the academia and the industry, and very fluid movement between industry and academia. Formation of syllabus, professors moving out to industry, industry guys moving out to universities and then coming back and forth and so on. We have seen the sort of lower end, the 12th pass kids also can do courses, or BCA, MCA, after that they can do courses and they can be better, more employable. So then we will have 3 very good experts in the field, Vice Chancellors from Punjab, Andhra and Gujarat. But before that, I will request Director of IIM Rohtak to talk about how the scenario is in higher education in IIMs, and how are they making the students more employable. that after they pass out of their colleges, how they can be better absorbed by the industry or the governments.
Good evening to you all once again. Let me just start from where I stopped earlier and also address one discussion point during the break time head on. Let me see this employability from a perceptual point of view. Employability is a perception. That is, the user should agree that yes, this man is useful. What do we make to do that? If I speak from an IIM or IIT point of view, I think the situation is more straight. At the end of the postgraduate program, I want all the students to get the best possible employment. If I can get that, that is my best deliverable. And I would consider our students employable, their employability very good. Now, under what circumstances my students will be absorbed in very good positions and very good companies with very good salary, it is dependent on the quality of the student. Companies come, they look at their CV, past is okay, educational background is okay, and then the IIM tag, okay, and then they get into the interview process. Maybe there is a group discussion and other parts also. At the end of the process, if they really come out with the feeling that yes, the students are really good, I want to offer not 2 for which I came, I will offer 3 students or 5 students depending upon their position. So I have achieved my target from a short-term point of view. If it is about the graduates of IIT or other major institutions, you will find the same applies. At the end of the course, they must be getting a good job. That is everybody's dream. And if companies find them good enough to hire in good positions and good salary, then you have achieved one of your deliverables or one of your goals. PhD, it may be slightly different. They should be a good researcher, they should be a good academician, and some good academic institutions or research organizations absorb them and they go there. In the long run, the employability comes from the success they get in their roles in the existing company, and over a very long period of time, how they progress from one company to the other. So they get frequent promotions, they get much higher pay, they get a lot of bonus, they get a particular a lot of award or pat from the CEO or other seniors. That means your student is doing very well. Of course, this cannot happen at the same rate with every student, but if that happens to majority of your students over a sustained period of time, it is sure that you are producing good students and the society is accepting them. Of course, subsequently we put a few more factors, parameters there, that they should be socially responsible, they should have good value system. Yes, from an Indian or Oriental perspective, value system is one of the important qualities that we need to have in the student, and if they have good integrity, then also that quality parameter or the employability parameter is met. But beyond this, what should be our parameter of employability? For that, we need to look into what we need to do at our organizational level, our institutional level, to see that our students are absorbed in very good position and they also progress over a period of time. We will find institutions with a good curriculum, one provides one important background. Curriculum is required, good facility is required, good faculty is required, student quality should be good. It is where there may be some controversy going by the question raised earlier. What about the students who are not that good quality? What do we do to them? That's a different point. And then delivery. Everything is okay. If delivery is not good, students will not be coming out in an employable manner. And then Also, there must be a continuous touch with the industry. This is what we are trying to provide to our students. This is what every institution is trying to provide as far as possible. But many of the traditional universities and institutions are deprived on this because there is not so much of industry interaction. But at least for IIMs, IITs, this is not an important problem. We get a lot of opportunities to be continuously interacting with the students. We also have a compulsory 2-month summer internship in which they have to go to industry and work there on an important project. And then placement dynamics also play a role. What kind of positions are available, what kind of companies are available. If X company is the right company or Y role is the right role for my student, but if X company doesn't come, or X company comes but Y role is not there, or if X company doesn't come, Z company comes, then there is a problem. There will be a mismatch of company or role, and later on the companies will start complaining that your student is not up to the mark because he has been assigned to a wrong role, or the company's ethos, culture and social fabric not up to the expectation of the students. So student means the new recruit, and he gets disheartened and a lot of subsequent issues can come. Therefore, placement dynamics and the placement performance. Placement performance is also very important, because if the person doesn't perform very well in the dream company he is looking for, he will be placed in another company which is not his expectation. And there he will be half motivated and he will not perform up to his full potential. Therefore, there is going to be a problem. Companies will start complaining that your student is not good. After some time they may leave and say that, "Arey, why should I come to your campus?" And the last point is the job performance. A company can be misguided by the smartness of a person to recruit somebody at a high package or a good role. But even the job, if it doesn't perform over a period of time in sustained manner, companies will come back and say that your person is not up to the mark. We have made a wrong choice. Next time we will not come, etc. Gradually, this will spread in the market and the institution will earn a bad name. And I have observed in many of the organizations where I worked, 7, 8 organizations I have worked, educational organizations of various caliber. And everywhere I have found the parameters are almost same. I have been part of university, I have been part of ordinary college, I have been part of IIT, I have been part of IIM and other institutions, autonomous institutions as well. But everywhere this framework was actually the framework. If we have all these parameters in place, we will get the ideally employable student. If any parameter compromised, automatically that employability will also be compromised. Since in real life we don't have all these factors together, we have to expect that we can never fully satisfy the employability criterion in the 100% perfect sense. So what is possible is to what extent we can create that perception where a large number of companies, a large number of employers feel that, okay, our students are good. I would conclude at that.
Thank you, Professor Rameshan. Basically, he touched upon 2-3 aspects. Industry guys coming as guest faculty, students doing internship in good industry, and a very strong placement system in which students are involved, institutions rating is at stake, industry is coming again and again based on good job performance. So these parameters are sort of ensuring that industry IIM interaction is strong and students are employable. Now I will like to request Vice Chancellor from Gujarat Technical University, what steps are they taking to ensure that students which pass out from their colleges, they are employable by the technical companies?
I am Akshay Agarwal from Gujarat Technological University. There are 4 factors, I believe, which are required for a student to become employable. The first is creative capabilities, whether he is able to think on his own, whether he is able to tackle new problems which come to him, whether he is able to face new situations. The second is learning at the university. The various subjects that we teach, whether he has understood and he is able to apply that knowledge. The third is the operative skills. We are a technological university, and therefore operative skills, for example, for a civil engineer, for a mechanical engineer, for an electrical engineer, will be different, but those skills are required. And lastly, in our country, what is very important is the idea of soft skills. Because many of our young people are coming from villages, small towns, and many times companies feel that even though they may have the other three skills, the fourth one may create a problem. Now, what is it that the university is doing about it? For the soft skills, we have begun a foundation program. In the foundation program, we require that the students should go through one language course, efficiency in and proficiency in the language of study, which happens to be English, and thirdly, some life skills. These three we are offering as a foundation course, and we offer them at the very beginning. As soon as the students join at the first semester, we ask them to take it up. In the second semester, we have developed a new program. Now, this new program we call as Contributor Personality Development Program. This particular course has been very specially designed so that the students will start visualizing that they are required to contribute to the society, to the company where they go. And this particular subject is offered in the second semester. This subject was prepared jointly with corporate trainers. The kind of training that they provide in corporations to senior managers, we had a look at it and tried to develop a program which is appropriate. Now, there is not a single student from GTU who will go through without this particular program. And therefore, every year, about 100,000 students go through this new course on what we call as Contributor Personality Development Program. This is the kind of program which we began in 2012, and already last year about 100,000 students have taken advantage of it. This year again another 100,000 students or more will be going through this particular course. It is a regular 48 hours course, at the end of which we conduct the usual exam. Now, these are the kind of courses which actually are not conducted anywhere else in the country. Both the foundation course and the CPD are special. We are going to conduct a review of what these courses have done to our students within a year to find out whether they have really led to a quality change. Regarding the issue of teaching at the university, today the situation is very different from what it was previously. About a decade and a half back, the state of Gujarat had number of seats which was so limited in technology that usually a student with some 85 to 90% marks only would be able to get admission. For these students, they were self-motivated, they would learn in spite of the university. Now that is not the situation. Now we get students with all kinds of grades, and in case we do not teach well, they are probably not likely to learn as well as the case used to be. Because earlier the students were so good, well, you were not really required to be a great teacher to be able to get across to them. So we have started a program which we call as active learning and creating excitement in the laboratories, workshops and classes. This particular program is designed to change the way we teach in the classes. It is designed to change the way we go to the lab and do the practical. Over the last 100 years or so, we had developed a process of doing practicals in the laboratories and workshops. And the process was, we give the students a set of 10 practicals or 12 practicals. He comes to the lab, takes some readings, draws a graph, and that's the end of it. We call them as meter reading and graph drawing exercises. They learn very well how to read meters, and they learn, of course, quite efficiently how to draw graphs. But the objective of a lab is discovery of new knowledge, discovery of understanding, a new kind of excitement they should have when they go to the lab and do the practical. That was completely missing. We are trying to develop new ways of offering these things in the classes. It's a big job to do because in our country we have not really done so earlier. We are trying to learn from various places, from the open courses elsewhere, and also from the methodologies used all over the world. Last year we took up 8 subjects in which we did a very special study and developed new material. That material is available for all on our website. What we did was, for those 8 courses, we developed the material. We also offered television courses because I have 550 colleges, 400,000 students. So therefore, to get across to all of them was a difficult process. We are following probably the largest faculty development program as of now in the country. I don't think any other university has got as large a program as we have. But our program is very special. We offer faculty development programs every Saturday and Sunday because we don't want to pull out teachers from the classes. So all through the year, except during the summer or during winter vacation of a few days, we offer these courses only on Saturdays and Sundays. During the summer, of course, we offer longer time courses. So we have a large number of faculty development programs, and in addition, we are offering these courses through television, and then whatever is the result, we put it on the web, the videos. So they are available for anyone to see. For these 8 courses, of course, last year we won a national award for ALCE because it is a work which is done actually for the first time. But we have a long way to go because I have 1,200 subjects and we have done work only for 8 till now. But it's a new process which we have started, and I hope more and more teachers and students will take part and will be able to develop the course material for these more effectively and faster. But please understand that this is essentially a way of thinking for the teachers, a new way of thinking for the students. And when they start thinking about it, all across the system, things will change very fast. Thirdly, the issue is of industrial collaboration, because when we talk about learning the skills, practical skills, obviously we have to take the help of industries. We started a project which we call as GTU Innovation Council in August 2010. Actually, I went to a meeting of large industries. We discussed this particular issue, and they said, well, you can send about 500 students for this particular kind of project. I said, well, I have about 50,000 students. 500 is very difficult. You know, I cannot select out of those 50,000, 500 and send them to you. I was advised that this was a foolhardy proposition to try to send 50,000 students into the industry. In Gujarat, there are 250,000 small and medium enterprises which are registered with the government. 50,000 students means about 17 to 18,000 groups, because students usually do a final year project in a group of 2 or 3. And I was thinking in my mind, how come when we have 250,000 small and medium enterprises, hundreds of large enterprises, that we cannot accommodate 50,000 students? We went ahead with it, and I am very happy to tell you that it has produced phenomenal results. With students who are from ordinary colleges, not from IITs, students who are from villages, students who are from small towns. 50,000 students went to the villages. They did 17,000 projects which were completed in May, June 2012. In 2011, before GTU was set up, these students were there, of course, working with various other universities. The difference was in 2012, they were all brought together under one roof with GTU. In 2012, these students have filed 177 patents. This is probably the largest number ever filed by any university in India during 1 year. So these were the patents filed by these ordinary students. 1900 industries have given in writing that the work by these young students has benefited them. Of course, the number of projects were 17,000. All of them did not benefit the industry. But 1900 of them, if they have benefited the industry, that's a great development. Because in the very first year, when I have teachers who have had no experience of industry, if they are able to do so much, that is something great. This is a phenomenal project which has been studied now by Koreans, by a group from Norway. This project, the studies from this project have been presented by IIM Ahmedabad at Spain, in Germany, and this has been considered to be a phenomenal project, the kind of which, of course, on this scale, obviously has not been done anywhere else. Of course, the Western countries have a long-standing tradition of industry and universities working together. But of course, they don't have a university with 50,000 students in the final year. So that way, this was probably the largest ever project. But of course, I must tell you, we have discovered various weaknesses which we are now trying to take care. And the point is, this is something which has been done to take care of this third issue. Regarding creativity, that is the major problem, and we are really working in that direction. We have what is called S4 and S4 projects. And now, from this year, we are also offering a new program in the final year, wherein we are saying a student can select his own subject, frame his own syllabus, and study himself. But that, of course, we will allow only to excellent students. Because for each such student, we will have to prepare a special way of dealing with him. The idea is, as far as possible, the university should not become a place for killing the creativity of the young. It should become a place for nurturing their creativity. It should become a place where we do not want them to mug up and come out successfully through the university. We want them to learn to understand. But in this particular direction, as I said, it's a tough task for a large university to push in that direction. But we are really making a good, great move in that direction. These are the kind of things we have done to make our students employable. I will not talk about what we have done for strengthening our training and placement cells. We have done something which again is something new and great on this level. But I think if the issue is of making them employable, these are the 4 things we have done. The next step is, of course, how to get jobs for them. That will be another question. But I think the moderator asked me to talk about how to make the students employable at GTU. And I've just talked about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal, for touching on important aspects of soft skills for Tier 2, Tier 3 city students, rural students, need for better labs, more hands-on experience, faculty development, and then sort of mapping the industry needs and the student skill sets, just like Shadi.com matches the Dulha and Dulhan. So matching the industry needs with the student skill set, that's very important. Now I will request Dr. Singh from Desh Bhagat University, Punjab, to talk about curriculum development and how he takes it forward for employability.
Respected Yesh Agarwal ji, moderate of this session, respected dais and delegates, I'll just share a few points. A lot of things have been discussed in the morning. I am happy that about RUSA, the mention was there that how we are progressing towards a higher education, what needs are met, what we do need to tell, what we need to do. But as you know that education, this is higher education, more to say, this is a key driver so far as development and economy of the nation is concerned. But when we see that what of our graduates, they lack sort of employment opportunities and employment skills, they remain sometimes unemployed, and these masses, where they are after higher education, they come across, they look for new jobs. So this is, of course, a major issue which is directly concerned with the employability of our graduates, and then what we need to do, upscaling employability in higher education, that is our role in while in universities. When we look towards this, that so far as growth of this higher education is concerned over the years, we have seen that higher education in India that has seen unprecedented expansion in last years. In 1947-48, we were just having 20 universities all over the country, and just 496 colleges, total 516. These higher education institutions. But over the years, now when we look at this growth has taken place in the first decade of this century to very high rate, and this is exponential increase in number of institutions has taken place. Now we are having 700 universities, 35,539 colleges, and this is a very big educational system which is operating in the country. But when we see that enrollment of students that has also gone higher, it was just 2 lakh at the time of we got independence, and now we are touching 20 million enrollment. And when we see that 18.8, that's GER, that is of course it's a very good achievements. But apart from this achievement, if you look this, that what type of expansion it is. So taking holistic view that anyone will see that higher education towards which we are moving, it is definitely unplanned, and now it is chaotic also at certain places. This higher education is coming up. Number has increased, of course, of the student is ratio. GER, when we take, that's a read, but we look at this. Infrastructure, it has not been created as long as to the level it was needed. It has not been increased so much. Second is that is the intellectual resources. Those are not present in the university as much as we need to meet these enrollment ratio that has been concerned. We all know that after Sam Paroda gave this, National Knowledge Commission gave this recommendation that, okay, we have to, from 8 we have to, by 12-15, we have to achieve 15% of enrollment ratio. So most of the thrust has on increasing the enrollment ratio. Even that is there, even in RUSA it has been mentioned. But at the same time, we should also know that where we are heading for. Are we our infrastructure increasing? Are we intellectual resources increasing? Or at the same time, are we dwelling more on skill orientation, which is very much needed? We churn more about 2.7 million graduates colleges every year. it results excessive demand in white-collar jobs, which are unavailable for these numbers which are coming out of the university. So this skewed demand and supply situation, that means that graduates, they are focused to accept certain jobs, and they do not meet their aspirations. Ultimately, what comes, so this is growing frustration amongst the graduates we are coming, and it breeds discontentment about in the graduates we are coming forth. So it is also a fact that job hunting starts after the getting the degrees, not before that. Of course, we are talking so much about technical education, but when you look at general education scenario in our university, the situation comes very clear that educated youth, they are unemployable, and they lack employable sort of skills. And many times it has been seen that even in many cases, the employment is there, but these employable graduates, they are certainly not there. When we see this, what are the general employment deficiencies in our graduates? Now, just a point has been made by the previous speaker here, that what is employability? Employability is just a job-specific technical skill, but this general level of preparedness and prospective entry or at entry level for the job seeker, that is needed. So when we get this feedback, this is generally seen that there is a low level of academic accomplishment in our graduates, that is number one. Then the employment skills, these are attributed to employment rather than technical competencies, that is needed. Employers, they need value generic employability skills in our graduates. So it has been seen that there is a poor attitude of our graduates, lack of confidence. Poorly motivated graduates, they lack goals, what they want to do. Lack of enthusiasm, lack of drive, low level of leadership potential that is there in the graduates, and inappropriate preparedness sometimes for interviews too. There is lack of no extracurricular activities. It has diminished in many institutions. More thrust is on this bookish knowledge. That's not sometimes needed. Extracurricular activities has its own impact on total personality of the students. So poor attitudes towards job, and sometimes these graduates, they are of course excessive, they show the interest in job security rather than job requirements, what we need. But actually what we need is a graduate must have some problem solving skills, creativity, innovative thinking, positive attitude, self-confidence, flexible nature, all these of self-discipline. These are the attributes of a graduate which should be inculcated by our higher education system. If you look at this and have certain gap analysis where we are lacking, most of the courses which we are having, that is we are having semester and annual system in most of the institutions. And all these courses, these are mostly conceptual, theoretical testing that is there. So when we see that the only student have to answer few questions, 4 or 5 questions at the end of the semester, and at the yearly system, and they get the pass marks or good marks and they pass out. But what is needed? The system is practically incapable of distinguishing among between skilled and not skilled graduates. That is which is needed. So traditional system that is devoid of testing, and there is lacking required type of employable skills and talents in higher education which is rather needed. Then, of course, there are many things which we do have to consider. Then, in gap analysis, when we see that need is, of course, identifying and devising my employable courses, and then what's more need is maintaining quality system and quality assurance system in all the institutions that should be in practice. Now, there are one system that is known as USCM system, accountability of this account for employability. What are the parameters which are required? That is understanding mostly of the subject. It is very much needed of the discipline which is needed. Skill, including key skills, that is important, and efficiency, beliefs of personal qualities, including self-theories of students that must be there. And metacognition is a very, very important at the same time. That is encompassing awareness on the capacity which should be reflected on by the graduates. Now, this metacognition subsumes, of course, elements of learning, how to learn. That is very much important. These are all interactive amongst each other, and they relate to employability. So this is all needed, and this developing this employability through curriculum, that is of course required. But there is no, of course, not one size fit all model, but different models are there. But very important is that employability, either it should be through whole curriculum, either there should be core curriculum as it was now provided in the RUSA, that it will be a choice-based credit system. You can have major courses, you have minor courses. So in core course curriculum, there should be developed work-based or work-related learning. That is important, that can be taken up. Employability-related modules within the curriculum that can be developed, and work-based, work-related learning in parallel to the curriculum that can also be developed. But in all this, the first system, which is employability through whole curriculum, that is more desirable and more accepted amongst universities. When we focus on this, that what are the requirement skills and how these courses should be modified, then at least half of this, 50%, that should be subject knowledge discipline. And rest of the 50%, out of this, 15% should be of course cell competencies related to discipline. And soft skills are also important. General competencies of expression, at least 50% component, it should be included in this. Then inculcation of moral values, that what is diminishing in our institution, but it's also very important for getting jobs. Now, this is hard skill, attitude formation, that is to develop attitude for any practical job, that is important, and this can be added through many courses. Many universities, they are giving add-on courses on this that can be possible. But looking at all this 50%, what we are saying is soft skill, that is interpersonal and soft skills. Now, these are of course all these public relationship, communication, presentation skill, leadership skills, then teamwork, then creative skills, entrepreneurships, continued learning, that should be emphasized, then information management, listening skills, that should be there. And of course, among this, personal habits, friendliness, optimism, then interpersonal relationship, then social grace, all these are important, and these are all employable attributes, soft skill, which should be in the graduate, that is equally important. So far as this IT and computer proficiency is concerned, the student should be there. But hands-on training and industrial-ready students, that should be produced in our institutions. This can be done through vocational courses, supporting financing and vocational education schemes. There should be modernization of infrastructure for this in the institution, and teacher training. Many other teachers, they don't know how to impart this vocational education. They should be trained in this also. Enhancing skill delivery, that is very important for teachers, and then counseling, career planning related to infrastructure support, that should be emphasis. But very important at the same time that skill implementation should be gender sensitive, and we should promote women empowerment also, because a lot of women and girls, they are entering into a world of higher education. Developing industrial oriented skill is very important. This what we call it this LPG system. It has promoted, of course, trigger up industrial expansion, which is now the increased amount of skilled labor that is now visualized by the industry. Many time industry, they are now feeling this facing this crunch of skilled labor, skilled people. So for this development of employable skills, that is very important. And this doesn't mean that graduates should have all expertise in industry, but they should be industry ready. They should have attitude towards industry. We have to develop attitude for the industry, that is important for this. In this, we can develop this, that is industrial retail work experience. I would like to mention here that Indian Council of Agriculture Research, in all the agricultural university, they have introduced one 6 months course, that is RAWE, Rural Work Agriculture Experience. A student has to spend 6 months at farmer's field. So they develop this farmer attitude among the students. So similarly, joining these students in the industry for 6 months at least, that will help a great lot. And then the industry people, they have to evaluate the students who are attached with them. They get placement also, and industrial ready students can be produced by this. Then interface for this, we have to be very much ready. We should have database with us, what is having where. We should involve industry in curriculum development. All the persons who are in industry, they should be taken on board of studies in the institutions. We should promote faculty exchange and conjoint research and development, setting up of monitoring cells, promoting entrepreneurship and problem-solving procedures. I will take just two examples in a brief, just 2 minutes. I've taken one example from this Maharashtra itself, where national service scheme is operating. So this is a joint program, private partnership. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, they have introduced it with the help of Tata Institute of Social Sciences Research. It has been introduced in 10 universities and 30 colleges. At the step 1, they are giving this IT literacy, finance literacy, English communication and other soft skill training. In the second step, they are giving this option choose to domain from these domains like hospitality, then healthcare, agriculture, entrepreneurship, banking. So out of these modules, at the end, after 3 years, they are having graduate degree also, at the same time, diploma from TIS. So this 2-degree, diploma and degree, those students who come out, they are much more skilled and much more employable than other students. Second success story I have taken from this place. When I was Vice Chancellor to the Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture Technology, there I introduced this program for 3 years. It is, of course, it is given in the 7th semester to a student. This is experiential learning and hands-on training. It was started with BTech, dairy development, dairy technology and technology and food technology. So in this, what we did was that the objective was, this was for 1 semester, 7th semester, this hands-on training, this was imparted to the students. Objective was, of course, to develop dairy and food technology skills to enhance employability in graduates. This duration was for 6 months, and approach was end-to-end. End-to-end means right from procurement, processing, packaging, and marketing by the students itself. So this was operated from 2008 to 2009 to 2012, 2030 for 3 years. And at the end, whatever the results were there, that the placement before the introduction of this experiential courses, from average placement that was 63% from 5 to 8. But from 2008 to 2010, when we took this average placement, it went to 85%. Similarly, in food tech program, the placement that was before this, it was just 62%. And after the introduction of this experiential and hands-on training, which were given to the students for 1 semester, the placement rate that went to 92%. So these are all the interventions which I wanted to discuss to make our student more employable. We need to certain capsule courses. We need to develop a course curriculum. We need to how to embed this employability factor into course curriculum and then give it hands-on training and make our student industry ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chahal, for a very logically divided presentation with very crisp to-do points. Now, as a senior panelist, I will request Andhra Pradesh Vice Chancellor to really sum up the whole discussion till now and give his own viewpoints and also sum up.
Just a minute. Good evening. At the outset, I would like to thank, on behalf of my university and on my own behalf, ILETS for organizing such a great event. We feel that ILETS has been or have been doing a wonderful job in creating revolution in the field of education, governance, administration, and whatnot. I would like to thank the coordinator for assigning me an additional responsibility of summing up. Well, as a teacher, one needs little preparation for delivering a lecture. Summing up, if I would have been told earlier, possibly I would have paid greater attention to what the great speakers have been talking about. But then, since the subject is more or less same, what I would do is I would make an attempt in presenting what I have prepared for the presentation, and now and then, as well as at the end, possibly I will make my own comments or the observations about the presentations already done. I am going to talk in general about empowering students in technical education with employability skills. In this job, I feel personally there are three components. One is identifying the employability skills, having a very clear idea as to what needs to be done, keeping in mind both the aspects, meaning the employers and the employees, or the products, and the products have got several other aspects, as it has been told earlier also. What is the type of input that we have, and what needs to be done, that input, to convert into a marketable quality product so that the market, the employers finally accept it. So that is a job to be done, though all of us know what is that job, but then it needs to be done keeping in mind how the job is to be done. Or in other words, how the employability skills are to be imparted. What needs to be done for that matter? What infrastructure facility to be created? What would be the role of the teachers in the institution? What would be the role of in fact, the employers themselves in imparting employability skills? They can't say that you produce what I want. I don't have to say anything about how you are producing. That's not a situation where we'll have win-win situation, and it was said earlier. And having done how the employability skills are to be imparted, well, the last step would be, before the students graduate out, some amount of honing up would be needed to sort of sharpen their skills with respect to employability or other aspects. Now let us see some of the employability skills with which all of us familiar. Yes, we have all been talking about, in fact, the domain knowledge, the knowledge, subject knowledge, what subjects they are studying. It's very important for them to be able to contribute something in the organization. Analytical skills we talk about today, environment is such that students are required to apply their analytical skills so that they can really be creative they can be innovative in their, that's what all organizations, the employers want. Yes, communication skill is one thing about which we talk. I will be also talking a little more about it. Presentation skills, yeah, how one presents the product, how, and we all know the advertising kind of the impact it makes, the students to be prepared, the skills to be imparted to them would be also related to how to present themselves, in what manner, how to present their viewpoints is also very important, and that's what is talking about presentational skills. General awareness skills is very important. It's not sufficient, or it's not at all good that a student confines himself or herself within the four walls of teaching, learning, and don't bother about what is happening outside the wall, what is the expectation of the industries, how industries are moving about, or for that matter, what is the expectation of the society at large. And that's very important. That's where the awareness, general awareness skill comes into play. Team building skill is very important. Today, as we say very aptly, that one can win a gold medal on its own, but if it has to be championship, if an industry has to perform, then it has to be a teamwork. And the employees which an employer takes, our students who are to be employed there, got to have that kind of a mental setup, that kind of an aptitude, that kind of an attitude, that he or she has to work in a team, and that team skill is very important. Training skill is very important. Today, every student, everybody has to learn. Even I, at this age, learn every day, and a lot I have learned today from the great speakers who had spoken before me, and for that matter, the whole day I have been learning. Learning skill, the training skill is very important. One has to know that the learning has to be lifelong. A student passing out, getting a graduate degree in whatever disciplines, should not ever think that that's the end of his learning career. That's possibly the beginning of the learning career. And that's very important, and soft skills are another important aspect. There are many other employability skills which one has to have talked about, lifelong learning skills. Any industry for that matter today, when they interview a student, they try to find out what is the problem-solving capability, critical thinking capability, creative thinking capability that the student has. And hence, all the training that we do for 4 years, 2 years or 3 years or whatever, a student does higher learning in a university, in an educational institutions, should be drawn, the curriculum, the whole process should be drawn in such a way that these skills are important, or for that matter, they are trained to develop creative thinking. The curriculum should be such, the teaching should be such, the education, the examination process should be such, the laboratories that we have been our previous speaker has been talking about, laboratory has been, the planning of the laboratory, the experimentation that to be done in the laboratory should be such that there is certain amount of creative thinking on the part of the student. It is not that just do the experiment, and as it has been said earlier, that you plot the graph and show the results. That's not the thing. And hence, there lies a lot of creative thinking to be done. For example, in my own way, I had been telling the student, tell us why this kind of a small deviation has come. You go back and examine the whole experiment that you have done and tell me where this kind of a variation could have occurred. If there was no variation, I would invent some amount of variation. I'd say that, well, your result has been 10. My expectation has been 12. Now tell me why this kind of a variation is there. Where could have been the deviation? The networking today, we all got to do networking. Nobody can work in isolation. No industry can work in isolation. No person can work in isolation. Team building spirit, team building capability, and interpersonal and multidisciplinary team building skills and integrative and global thinking skills are very important. We need to impart today, for example, I am referring to technical education. Science education becomes a very important component. We have to, every student has to be told that in their problem solving, day and night, they have to apply the science, knowledge of science, mathematics, engineering, and they should develop the capability to design, conduct experiments, analyze, and interpret the data. How it has come, why it should not be the other way, etc. kinds of things. And the design a system also is very important for all the things. Again, we can go on talking these things. We need to develop understanding of professionalism. A student has to, as I said earlier, student has to work as a professional, and hence that professional skills, professional ethics are also to be imparted, to be done. We talk about communication skill, lot about communication skill, and very often we do mistake that communication skill really refers to being able to speak in English, being able to communicate in English. It need not be so, or it need not be entirely so. It has something to do with the way a person puts forth one's point of view. What is the type of originality or creativity involved in putting forth one's points of view? And there, the English knowledge may not be that great important in deciding the communication skill. So that's what it is. There are many other traits which one would expect, one employer would expect a student to have, like every employer wants to know what is the aptitude of this boy in employing them in an IT industry, or for that matter in I don't know why it has come like this. Yeah. Character, work ethics, basic intelligence has to be there. Commitment is very important. One has to, many a time, this is one point which many employers would like to look into. What is the type of commitment that you would expect from the students? Dedication in fulfilling the commitments. And a student, often they are asked, what are your strengths or weaknesses? Many a time we find that our students are not aware of such things. And these are the skills to be imparted to them. Human values and curiosity is a very important thing for him to survive. Now, while we are talking about imparting employability skills, domain knowledge we have said very important. Again, let me spend a few minutes on how to impart domain knowledge. Yes, curriculum is a very important one. How old is the curriculum? How new is the curriculum? How futuristic is the curriculum is very important aspect. And very often, okay, the students are not responsible for that, but the institution, the university is responsible, and how good they are in their thinking, in futuristic way of thinking. If a student has been admitted in first year today, we must know that he is going to be employed 4 years hence or 5 years hence, and hence how the technology is going to change. Are we taking care of that change in technology in our curriculum design? So that's very important. Delivery, pedagogy delivery system is very important. Many institutions do not have the proper delivery system, and hence there is a lack of understanding. Students try to mug up the things, and that's not. Infrastructure is another important. Qualified and experienced faculty is the concern of everybody today. But this also has to be addressed globally. We have to see as to how to train the teachers. It is, in most of the cases, our experience is, at least my own experience, you may not agree with me, my own experience is majority of us who join teaching profession are not by design. It is just because of some certain circumstances. Whatever happens, I tell the teachers who come to my university, tell them that, look here, you have chosen a profession which is a noble profession. Make it noble and develop your commitment, develop your love for the subject. And we do provide, in my university, we do provide enough opportunity for them to be trained. We have got an academic staff college in my university which takes care of training of the teachers, whether we talk of question paper setting, Bloom's taxonomy, or we talk of teaching pedagogy, or we talk of teaching with outcome in mind. So all these are done in a very regular fashion. Our teachers are done so that they can, and then we tell our teachers that, well, this is how you have to do this. There are certain best practices which are also possible. For example, the teaching has to be with imparting concepts, outcome-based. There can be, in courses, there can be term paper where the students will do small amount of research in some way and then give his own thinking and develop something, maybe develop a product, develop some kind of a write-up, and that will go a long way in making him more and more curious and making him research-oriented. And that's what would be really paying him at the end when he will go for jobs. Continuous evaluation system is very important. Student-centered learning, open lab concept could be provided. Teachers acting as mentors for monitoring the progress and providing counseling. We have been talking about students, average students coming in the higher education. Yes, we have to cater to their needs. And there lies the importance of the teacher mentors, there lies the importance of counseling, there lies the importance of monitoring the progress on a continual basis. Digital learning systems have come in a big way. There are many others who talk about it. Curriculum design has to be research-based with industry interface, and that is what is most of the time it is lacking. Industry is not involved. Industry persons are not brought in designing the curriculum. Industry persons are not invited as guest speakers or as resource persons to share their experiences with the students. And those are the things which can be done. Students can be motivated to give seminars during their coursework, and that will make a long way in improving their presentation skill, improving their communication skill, improving their subject knowledge or the domain knowledge, and many such things. Today, it has come to a stage when we have to think about their holistic growth. Holistic growth is, along with their domain knowledge, we have to look after their other developmental things, like providing them facilities like sports, yoga, and other extracurricular activities. And there can be other courses on soft skills. Soft skills are meant for creating general aptitude, general attitude. Soft skills improve communication skills. They provide teamwork. They provide leadership skills. And communication skills can be developed through reading, writing, listening skills. So these are some of the things which have to be trained to the students. Their computer knowledge, their interview skill is very important. Many a time students fail because they do not have the interview skill. Personality development skills are also to be there. So for imparting soft skills, English language, yes, language lab, student hobby clubs, and through the hobby clubs, there could be many such hobby clubs, like they have got debate club, they have got many such things where the students will discover them will hone their latent talents and bring out some of their inherent skills. Presenting papers in seminars, technical, cultural functions, and having employability modules at the end. We have been having in my university, at the end, the honing the communication skills, we tell them and give them some exercises or reading newspapers and tell them that you can watch televisions, but watch the televisions on topics where certain discussion topics take place, engaging discussions between the peers and communicating with social networks. Also, some of the things can be done. Presentation skills can be improved by presenting papers in seminars, reading articles, participating in extempore and competitive speeches, presenting in front of presenting self in front of mirrors, and things like that. Attitude and value system are other things which would pay greatly in the career of a student. Inculcating values of willingness to participate is what is attitude. Creating concern for the preservation of environment, yes, that has to be done. And there are several programs which can be done, like through the professional societies. For example, World Environment Day. The students should be asked to participate in World Environment Day. They will then understand what is the importance of preserving the environment. Or they have to participate in many such events that can be organized in the university or the system. Attitude, it is very important in success in life. The students got to be told to be very positive. Negative thinking will only bring in misery. And we have to tell them as to how negative thinking can be identified, blaming others for their own failures, cursing the parents, teachers, and having lack of self-confidence. We do believe, and we have been practicing it, counseling, having counseling sessions for the students, student membership of professional societies we encourage, providing psychological counseling, yoga practices, and things like that. We got to know that the employment scenario is going to change by 2020. It's going to be one which is going to be paperless. It's going to be one where most of the work would be done by touching a button or electronic storage bank systems, etc. Most of the work will be done through automation, through machines. Manual work will be less. It is going to be highly technology oriented. It has to be net connected. It has to be multicultural. Virtual teams with fixed timings and borderless operations going to be the order of the day, maybe another decade to come, or maybe less than a decade. Keeping that in mind, we have to train our students in an appropriate way so that they get employable. And I would like to say that making them employable, giving them employable skill is not the last thing. We have to make them good citizens, we have to make them useful, we have to make them creative so that they can contribute something to the growth of the society. Maybe this is... I will conclude. We have touched on the employability skills and the best practices, etc. And I have tried to present what we are doing at KL University. I would only like to say that These are the practices which we have been doing, have been yielding results. We have been able to, a placement of the students is a criteria. We have been succeeding in that. Friends, summing up, this session is extremely difficult when, the speakers, such great speakers have been talking here, but then yes, they have made a great contribution in sending the message as to what needs to be done by the institution, what needs to be done by the teachers, both together, and other paraphernalia, how to be designed, including curriculum and things like that, so that at the end of the day, we make students which are students at products which are acceptable to the customers, that is the employers. And that's what needs to be done. And for that, different trades, different skills are to be imparted to them, and there are different measures, different ways of doing it. And those are the things which have been dealt by the great speakers over here. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Time for some questions. I think we can take 2 or 3 questions. Yes, please.
I'm Kiran. I'm reintroducing myself. First thing, I've been listening to the panelists and great academicians. 2 observations that I wanted to make and take your views on that. First, Professor Rameshwar, he informed us that it's not only getting placement, but after placement what they are doing. It is as per the survey, 64% of the employers are not happy in India with the freshers that they join. And within 6 months, either they leave the organization or they are being sacked. That is point number 1. Here, when I looked at the entire thing, what I feel in my 20 years back when I was doing my PG, completing my PG, the equation was slightly different. The equation was faculty is directly proportionate to education, education is directly proportionate to knowledge, knowledge is directly proportionate to placement. So, if we have good faculties, good education and good knowledge, placement is a byproduct of this. But in current scenario, when I look at the entire our society, what I observe is faculty is removed, knowledge is removed, only education is proportionate to placement. Now in this scenario, now my first statement is 64% of the employers are not happy. That I am correlating with this. Because it's only education versus placement. There is no knowledge, there is no emphasis on the knowledge, there is no emphasis on the faculties also. And the graduates who are not getting placement, they are opting for teaching. Teaching has becoming a kind of, job, it's not a profession. These are my observations. I would like to take your inputs on that. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to thank you for the observations, which are really very pertinent observations. Yes, we got to be pondering over if there is any such deviation that has taken place. But again, I would say that it may not be universally true today. There are institutions, there are teachers who are thinking differently. They are thinking in terms of imparting knowledge, imparting skill. As I said, it is problem-solving skill type of things, It is not just book knowledge, or it is not just mugging up something and then doing things. That kind of a scenario is not there today. May not be everywhere the opportunity or the facility existing, but that attitude or that feeling has come into the minds of all the teachers, all the institutions at large, I would say. Some may not be able to implement it, but that's the fact today. Again, if you say that there are the retention, some percentage of the, yes, that question was there. For example, I come from IIT system. The students of IIT, there was some 20 years ago, at least 20 years ago, all the employers who used to come to IIT for employment, they used to say, your students are not going to stay there for more than 2 years. Yeah. Let us ask the question, is it something that to be blamed, or the blame to be passed on to the students alone? I would say no. I come from IIT system, I had been there as a teacher. Well, we have also to create an environment. For example, I know, I am not talking that IIT students are all cream and all things like that, that I don't believe. But what I believe is that after they get trained, they got to be given an environment where they can contribute. Because I have also interacted with students who have left as to why have you left. They said it's all stereotype work that is being given. It is all given work like a clerk type of thing. If I have a good typist, if I have a good steno, if I have a good secretary, I could ask her to do the work which I am doing now. And do you, sir, expect that I would be there anymore? I can't. So I look for some other place where there is challenge. They are looking for challenge. The industry's got to give them a challenge, challenging job, which is not there to my mind. Which also some kind of a heart searching on the part of everybody has to be done. And then only the solution will come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, please. Just a minute. Yes, a very important point has been raised, and I have taken 1 minute from the chairman, moderator, for this. Thank you very much. When we are talking about all these IITs and all this, IITs, this is not general all the education scenario in the country. We are having different institutions, and very important point has been raised by the from the learning audience. When we look towards the faculty, faculty retention is something important. But in higher education, what we see that good teachers, they are not coming. I mean, mediocrity that is prevailing on, and of course, when we say teaching is the last priority for any person to come to teaching profession. And even those who come to this profession, they'll continue for the initialists to look for some other sort of avenues. And whenever they get competition, examination, civil services, they move to civil services and leave the education system. So ultimately, what is left in the education system, that is mediocre teachers, that is very much prevailing in many of the institutions, the higher education. That is, of course, we have to think, and it's a very serious point that we should have good teachers. We can't compromise. All these facilities are going on, these technology, ICT era, but good and motivated teacher is basic requirement of higher education.
No, actually, others might not be able to hear. That's why, sir. I would like to request Sri Rajesh Agarwal ji to hand over the mementos to our speakers of this session. So, to start with, we would like to request him to give the certificate to Mr. Amit Kumar, President, Cyber4 Technologies. Then Dr. S.S. Chahal, Vice Chancellor, Desh Bhagat University, Punjab. Dr. Akshay Agarwal, Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Technological University. And Professor G.L. Datta, Chancellor, KL University, Andhra Pradesh. Thank you so much for the excellent deliberations. We would now disperse for a tea break of 15-20 minutes, following which we'll come back here for the next session on role of research-based education in strengthening knowledge society. We will start this session from around 5:50 to 6. That would be the timing. Thanks.